Hello and welcome to another Learning Badminton video. Today we're going to look at 5 things you can do off court that can improve your badminton. These 5 things are in no particular order, but number 5. Watching badminton can make a huge difference to your own gameplay, simply because you can see how professionals do it. Now if you want to look at a specific stroke, like a backhand, an overhead, you can see the movement the professional uses, and you can try and copy them. I wouldn't always say go and copy them straight away because it's going to be difficult, but you can see how they play the stroke and get to the stroke. Now that's important simply because if you are messing up on your backhand, or if you aren't quite jumping time-wise, you can see how they do it. Now don't expect to be able to do what they do. You won't necessarily have the explosivity in your legs or practiced enough to be anywhere near them. However, it is a good place to start. Number 4. Work on your fitness. Now your fitness is massively important when you play badminton. You might not even realise it, but half the time we make mistakes during a rally because we are fatigued, tired, or just so we're out of breath, we're struggling, and we just don't make it to that extra shot. Now if we can improve our fitness, it doesn't just mean cardio. Yes, cardio is a good place to start, but resistance training of any kind, for instance, you would want to make sure the exercises are connected to badminton in some shape or form. Now that could be jumping drills, that could be explosive lunges or step lunges with dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, even books if you haven't got weights. It doesn't matter. You just want to improve the movements and the things you do in badminton. As far as cardio, going for long runs, fine. But what about sprinting? We use a lot of explosive energy in badminton, so it's good to build on that as well. Not just your long distance or your stamina, you want to build up your quick moves as well. Okay, number 3. Now number 3 might seem fairly straightforward, but it is a good way to improve your defensive capabilities and changing grip. So you can actually hit into the wall. Now all you need for that is a racket and some shuttles. They can be plastic, they can be feather. Obviously if they're feather, make sure they're old. Don't want to wreck brand new ones on a wall. Now it helps improve your reaction timing, not necessarily reactions, but your timing. You get used to it hitting closer, therefore your defense will improve. If you start, you could start in a backhand movement, so defensive backhand and hit into the wall, and the faster it gets, the more it comes back at you. Obviously the old one will fall down, but you can also improve your overhead or your drive shot. So a flat into the wall will come back at you very quickly, so obviously you need to react there. Overhead, you can stand further back, hitting it into the wall, and then run forward, lift or drive again, back off, so you can improve movement and your stroke. Now obviously if you don't have a massive wall, for instance I don't, I use the inside of my garage. So I just hit against the wall, try and stay in the same place. Although not completely realistic, it does help with my backhand defence. Right. Number 2. Practicing serving is key, certainly in doubles. In singles, it still makes a big difference. If you can get your opponent all the way to the back of the court, great. But obviously outside, that serve is going to be tricky because the wind is going to take it. Now, I'm lucky in the sense of I have a net that I can take around with me, and I know its exact height of a normal badminton net. But that doesn't mean to say I don't know the distance, because obviously in badminton you've got to stay in your square and you serve to the receiver's square. Now that's a specific distance. What you can do is, if you're struggling for this, you can look online and there's loads of measurements for badminton courts. And get a tape measure and measure that distance between one square to the opponent's. Now, you don't necessarily need a net. You could use anything. You could use a bin, you could use something higher. It doesn't matter, you're just practicing your serve motion and you're just concentrating on the distance. Obviously, if you want to be more specific, you could serve into something else, like a bucket. If you're really trying hard to get a serve in and you want to be really accurate, then use another shuttle tube, because they're difficult to get into. Obviously that is possible. I have actually done it once or twice, but not too often. But all you do is you serve. If you've got a net, brilliant, it goes over the net, but you're aiming for that shuttle. Now remember, there is one thing here though. You need to make sure that it's not going straight down. Obviously, when you serve normally, it has to go over the net. So try and bear that in mind, try and get it over. Obviously, if you've got a net or something you can use as the same height as a net, that'll probably be more beneficial for you. Okay? And number 1, practice your footwork. Now again, the measurements you can use if you wanted to for a badminton court, however you don't need to. Practicing your footwork could be anything you like, in the sense of, okay, how would you get from one end of the court to the other? Use your garden, use a field. If you haven't got that, use your road. Just make sure it's not a busy one. Obviously, try and make sure it's nice and quiet. If it isn't, then go and use somebody else's. Do it somewhere else. Even do it on the path. It doesn't matter where you do it, but you can practice your footwork anywhere you like, providing you've got space. Now, the important thing here is to make sure you get used to the movements and you try and use as little energy as possible. Because obviously, if you're moving around heavy-footed and struggling to change direction, you're going to struggle on a badminton court. Okay? Well, I hope today's video was helpful. Obviously, if it was, leave a like. If not, comment below and let me know why not. Okay, guys? I'll see you all in the next one. Stay safe.